something that 900 men proved on a hill in Korea against 40,000 Chinese soldiers. Give me 10,000 Filipinos, and I will conquer the world. These were not empty words, not flattery, not propaganda. MacArthur had commanded millions of soldiers. He had seen the greatest armies of a generation fight at their absolute best. When he said this about Filipinos, he meant every word, because he had watched 900 of them do what should have been impossible. Hold a line that should have broken, fight odds that should have overwhelmed them, win a battle they should have lost. Among the Philippine Expeditionary Force to Korea was a young lieutenant who would one day become the 12th president of the Philippines, Fidel Ramos. He was there. He served in Korea. He saw what the 10th BCT was capable of, and decades later, as president, he would speak about the Korean War with visible emotion, because some things you never forget. Some things change you. Ramos had seen Filipino soldiers at their best. He knew what they had done. He carried that knowledge his entire life. In 2019, the Philippine Navy commissioned a warship in Captain Yap's honor, the BRP Conrado Yap, a modern vessel carrying the name of a man who died on a hill in Korea 68 years earlier. Every time that ship sails, it carries the memory of a captain who refused to leave his men behind, who disobeyed orders because obedience meant abandonment, who died making sure every soldier under his command came home. The ship is a reminder. The legacy is permanent. Today, South Korea and the Philippines maintain one of the strongest military alliances in Asia. Korean companies invest billions in the Philippines. Korean tourists fill Filipino beaches. Young Koreans study at Filipino universities. The relationship is deep and genuine, and part of the foundation of that relationship is blood. Filipino blood, shed on Korean soil, at Yultong, at Muledong, across the hills and valleys of a country most Filipinos had never seen before 1950. South Korea remembers. They built a monument. They awarded medals. They made sure the world knew what 900 Filipinos did on April 22nd and 23rd, 1951. There is a monument to the Battle of Yultong, stone and metal, permanent, standing in South Korea. A reminder that 900 men held against 40,000, that a chaplain picked up a rifle, that a captain disobeyed orders to save his men, that cooks and medics and clerks became infantry because the situation demanded it, that Filipinos don't surrender, they don't retreat, they don't leave anyone behind. The monument is there so the world never forgets. Here is the truth that makes Yultong so powerful. These 900 soldiers were not elite special forces. They were not career military professionals with decades of experience. They were not genetically engineered warriors. They were ordinary Filipino men, farmers' sons, teachers' sons, working-class Filipinos from ordinary places, volunteers who had never seen Korea before September 1950, men who could have stayed home, who chose to go, who chose to fight, who chose to hold when everyone else retreated. The cook who picked up a rifle had probably never expected to be in direct combat. He was someone's husband, someone's father. He had a job that was supposed to keep him away from the front line, but when the Chinese broke through, he didn't hide. He didn't wait for someone else to handle it. He picked up a weapon and fought, because his brothers needed him, because 900 men surrounded by 40,000 don't have the luxury of defined roles, because in that moment, he stopped being a cook and became a warrior. The chaplain had taken vows of peace. His entire life was dedicated to mercy and prayer and spiritual guidance. He was supposed to comfort the dying, not kill the enemy. But he looked at the battle around him and made a decision. Prayer alone was not enough. His men needed every hand that could hold a weapon. So he set down his Bible, picked up a rifle, and fought. Not because he wanted to kill, because his brothers needed him. because some moments require choices that go beyond doctrine, because being a man of God sometimes means standing with your brothers in the fire. And Captain Conrado Yap had been given legal permission to retreat. Nobody could have blamed him. He had earned the right to save himself. The order was clear and reasonable. 40,000 Chinese soldiers stood between him and the trapped platoon on Yultong Hill. Going back was suicide, but Yap looked at that order and made a different choice. He chose his men over his own safety. He chose leadership over obedience. He chose to die if necessary, rather than abandon soldiers who depended on him. That was who Conrado Yap was, a man who believed that leaving people behind was not an option he could ever accept. The 17-to-1 kill ratio did not happen by accident. It was not luck. It was not divine intervention. It was 900 trained Filipino soldiers who refused to accept defeat, who held their positions when overwhelmed, who fought with discipline and courage and the absolute refusal to break. Every man firing until his ammunition ran out, then resupplying, then firing again, fighting from prepared positions against human wave attacks, making the